For over 50 years now, the world has been treated to a plethora of heroic tales of Marvel's cherished Golden Boy. Be they in comics, on the big screen, the small screen, and yes, in video games, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has continued to set the finest of examples of heroism in the face of evil, all with a dazzling flair and a quippy one-liner at the ready. And that is what Insomniac Spider-Man manages to capture the best here, creating an experience that provides players with the same thrills that we've come to expect from the everyday life of the webhead, while also offering up a tense and heartfelt story along with a fully immersive open world for us to explore. Rather than being based on any of the comics or even the current much more exploitive MCU, Insomniac Spider-Man has very much constructed its very own reality within the Marvel universe, bringing together familiar elements used in Spider-Man stories while also at the same time altering events and characters so as to keep longtime fans intrigued as to what has been changed. These can be minor inclusions such as Peter working as a lab assistant for Otto Octavius, Aunt May helping to run a shelter, or major additions like Miles Morales appearing throughout the game. It also helps that we're introduced to this version of Peter Parker after he's been the Wallcrawler for over 8 years now. This allows for sparse moments of reflection from Peter on where his life as Spider-Man has led him and where it's headed. There's also plenty of time spent showing how much Peter's friends and family mean to him and how they help to push him through the hard times he must face in both of his lives. As for the driving force behind the story, we find Spider-Man entangled in a war for the city sparked by the mysterious criminal organisation known as the Demons. For what might seem like a simple foil the bad guy save the day storyline turns into a rollercoaster ride against some of Spider-Man's most formidable foes. Admittedly, the story can shift around a bit too much at times, and I had wished more focus could have been placed on one core plot thread rather than shifting the focus to other stories. However, my mind was constantly on edge to find out where the story would take me next and what new threats would follow. While the story is well written and comes with a handful of really emotional moments, undoubtedly the most astonishing thing to take from this game is the effort put towards the game's web slinging mechanics. Almost every detail that could have been done to create a fully realistic web slinging experience has been masterfully achieved here. Swinging is smooth and kinetic within all the city environments, with zip swings and wall runs helping to keep your momentum charged at all time. I honestly can't ever remember a time while playing this game in which I felt strained while moving around. Both the city and Spider-Man just feel in sync with one another. The attention put towards Manhattan is also worth noting, being one of the most detailed cities I've ever seen in a game, with iconic Marvel and New York landmarks scattered throughout, along with bustling city streets in between it all. It was honestly a hoot just to walk around and bask in all the cheers and jeers you'd expect from a city this enwrapped with superhero doings. Of course, there was also immense fun to be had with the game's equally fluid combat, which, while certainly does take a page or two from other third-person action adventure games, finds a way to keep things fresh by playing on Spider-Man's more acrobatic-like fighting style, as well as his use of the open space that the city provides. I did find it hard to adjust to the game's slight different approach to combat at first, but after a while I was utilising every one of Spider-Man's many tricks and had a blast whipping enemies to walls and witnessing the game's cinematic takedowns. Sadly, the game does have a slight weak patch in the form of the game's rather basic stealth system. Granted, it's never really essential in any of Spider-Man's missions to remain completely covert, but having a few tricks here and there, it can feel like a bit of an afterthought at times. Another area that I feel also could have had a bit more put into them were the Mary Jane and Miles missions that occur throughout the story, which mostly just involve simply sneaking past guards. And while making both supporting characters more active in Peter's journey does lend itself to his character's reliance on his friends, their sections unfortunately end up feeling at odds with the much more faster core gameplay we're used to, with them only slightly improving as they continue to pop up in the story. You'll also occasionally need to solve puzzles at points, the most common ones being completing circuitries and identifying substances. And while you do have the option to skip them, they can feel a little repetitive after a while. With the open city naturally comes a whole array of side quests and collectibles for you to complete, which can be located thanks to radars installed on police stations. Various crimes show up often ready for you to lend a hand, but there's also bases for you to infiltrate, Black Cat Taskmaster and research station challenges for you to tackle, as well as iconic locations for you to take shots of. There's also forgotten backpacks belonging to Peter scattered throughout, each containing mementos to past characters and events in its life, be they cherished memories, old tech, or souvenirs from old villain encounters. Completing these activities earns you specific tokens that can be spent on unlocking and improving gadgets, along with various Spider-Man costumes, each with their own abilities that can be equipped on any suit once unlocked, just in case you prefer to use Iron Spider's extra arms or dressed up as Spider-Man 2099. Skill points can also be earned as you level up throughout the game, which can be used on free skill trees to unlock new powers for both swinging and combat. It's not especially deep, but it's there all the same. Another inclusion sure to inspire players to get creative with the game's photo mode that comes with many customizable features that are sure to lead to many artistic and humorous pieces for you to share. It is worth noting that throughout my entire playthrough I only ever encountered one serious glitch in which I was unable to proceed during during a boss fight, forcing me to restart the whole mission. Insomniac Spider-Man has managed to provide one of the most exhilarating and charming open world games to be played in years. It not only offers up an engaging and heartfelt tale of the webhead, but also finally provides players with a definitive web-slinging experience that pushes Spider-Man to the forefront of this generation of gaming. And though the odd mission or puzzle can slow things down a tad, it never fails to dampen what I consider to be a spectacular time that will certainly be remembered for years to come.